My beloved child, there are seasons when you walk forward and your heart feels as though it is passing through a field covered in mist. The road ahead cannot be seen, and even the footprints behind you are no longer clear. You pray, yet the answer has not appeared. You hope, yet your circumstances remain silent like stone. You try to live uprightly, yet the results come so slowly that you begin to wonder whether all your efforts are dissolving into emptiness. My child, I want you to hear this with the deepest part of your being. My silence is not my absence. When you do not yet see my hand moving outwardly, it does not mean I am standing still. There are works I perform in hidden places, so quietly that your eyes cannot recognize them. Yet these very works determine your strength for the season ahead. I am not only preparing what you have asked for, I am also preparing you so that you can receive it without breaking, without losing your way, and without forfeiting the peace I have planted within your heart. Remember Daniel, who prayed in a time of great pressure and waited many days without yet seeing an answer. Before his eyes, everything seemed delayed, the heavens seemed closed, the urgency in his heart seemed to fall into a long silence. Yet in the place human eyes could not see, the answer had already been set in motion. There was a battle unseen, hindrances unknown to anyone, movements that had begun before the result touched the earth. I tell you this so you may understand that there are times when you think your prayer has not been heard, while in truth it was received from the very moment you uttered it with a sincere heart. Delay is not always denial. Sometimes it is the distance between what has been appointed in the higher realm and the moment it is revealed in your life. Therefore, do not let the days in which you see nothing cause you to conclude that nothing is happening. I know the world around you often believes only in what can be measured immediately. People honor quick results, visible light, achievements that are easy to see, and applause that rises before a crowd. They ask what you have gained, how far you have come, how much you can prove, and what position you hold. But my kingdom does not measure you by those fading standards. I see what no one else sees, your faithfulness on weary days, your patience when you still choose what is right, though you are not recognized, your gentleness when you have enough reason to become bitter, and your faith when the sky has not yet brightened. To me, one who continues walking in the dark without letting go of, my hand is far more precious than one who rejoices only when the road has already been covered with flowers. I am not drawn to the noise of achievement. I cherish the quiet endurance of a heart that still turns toward the light. Perhaps today you see your trials as rough, unattractive, unworthy of keeping, and you only want them to pass quickly so you can feel relieved. But I, the one who sees the whole journey, know that many of the most precious jewels within you are formed in the very places you once wanted to leave the soonest. Pain itself is not something you must glorify, but when it is placed in my hands, it can become material from which I create new strength. Waiting is not comfortable, but it can teach you a quiet form of courage. The courage not to give up when there is no sign. The courage to keep your heart tender when life becomes hard. The courage to believe that what I am doing is greater than your passing emotions. Days that go against your wishes do not come to make you smaller. They can become the place where I broaden your vision, strengthen your steps, and teach you that true peace does not depend on everything immediately bending to your desire. So do not be quick to label fruitless seasons as failure. A seed buried in the soil does not disappear. It simply enters a process that human eyes cannot see. If the seed could speak, perhaps it too would think it had been abandoned in darkness. But within the ground, the old shell breaks apart. The roots begin to find their way, and life silently prepares to rise. You are the same. There are parts within you that must be made deep before they are made wide. There are dreams that must be purified so they are no longer mixed with the fear of proving yourself. There are desires that must be placed back in their proper position so that when I give, you do not turn the gift into an idol. There are answers that need to come later than you hoped. Not because I lack mercy, but because I know what timing will make that answer a complete blessing rather than a burden too heavy for you to bear. I do not require you to understand every reason today. A small child cannot always understand why a father holds him back from the road he wants to run into. But the father's love does not become smaller simply because the child does not yet understand. I do not condemn you when you are tired, when you question, when you cry, when there are nights when all you can do is sit quietly before me. I am not offended by your honest weakness. What I desire is that you do not walk away from me simply because you do not understand how I am working. Bring your confusion close to me instead of letting it pull you away from me. Let your questions rest in my arms instead of turning them into a wall that separates you from hope. You do not need to pretend to be strong in order to be loved by me. You only need to be truthful. And in that truthfulness, I will restore life to you little by little. Then one day, when the fullness of time opens, you will look back on this road with different eyes. The pieces that once troubled you will begin to find their place. The delays will no longer seem only like frustration, but like protection. The closed doors will appear as walls that shielded you from a dangerous path. The times you had to wait will show that they trained within you the calmness needed for a greater blessing. Then you will realize that I did not waste a single tear, did not discard a single sigh. We did not forget one day when you tried to stand even though you were exhausted within. Everything placed in my hands can be woven again into a garment of wisdom. And when you put it on, you will not only remember that you endured, you will recognize that you were transformed. The world may ask why you still believe when you have not yet seen, why you still love when you have not yet been answered, why you still do what is right when there is no reward. But let your life answer through perseverance. Faith is not a shout that sounds only when everything is favorable. Faith is the lamp that still burns through the long night. Hope is not a pleasant feeling when you already hold evidence in your hand. Hope is the hand that remains open even when circumstances have not yet changed color. Love is not gentleness that appears only when you are treated well. True love is revealed when you still choose not to let bitterness rule you. I see these things in you, and I call them precious. People may overlook them, but I do not. People may not applaud, but heaven knows. My child, keep walking, but do not walk with the tension of one who fears being left behind. Walk with the breath of one who knows they are being guided. Keep sowing, but do not sow in resentment. Sow with the faith that the harvest has its own appointed season. Keep praying, but do not see prayer as desperate knocking on a stranger's distant door. Pray as a child coming home, knowing that the Father is listening. Even though the answer may come in a form different from what you imagined, keep loving, but do not forget to let me heal the places where you have grown, exhausted from giving too much without being strengthened in return. I do not want you to burn yourself out while calling it sacrifice. I want you to live in love that has a source, in service that has peace, and in endurance that has rest beside me. And when you do not understand, remember that I am the one who sees the end of the road, while you only see the nearest bend. I am the one who knows which thread must be pulled, which color must be added, which shadow makes the light stand out, and which silence makes the music deeper. Your life is not a series of scattered events abandoned to chance. In my hands, even the days that are difficult to understand can be brought into a higher order. There are low notes today that make you sad, but when the song is complete, they will give the melody of your life depth. There are pages you want to tear out, but they are the very pages that will make the next chapter more meaningful. There are roads you thought were filled only with loss, But later you will see that I hid within them treasures of maturity, courage, and a deeper knowledge of my love. Therefore, my beloved child, do not draw conclusions too soon about this season. Do not let your eyes be deceived by the slowness of the surface. Do not let your heart grow dim simply because you have not yet seen the dawn today. I am still working. I am still reshaping what is within you with the gentleness of a father, not to break you, but to make you more steadfast. What you go through will not be meaningless when you place it into my hands. One day, you will stand in a broader light. Look back on the entire journey and understand that I was there in every step, in the tears, in the waiting, in the unanswered words, in the closed door, in the hand that lifted you up when you thought you could not continue. And you will say with mature peace, what I allowed you to pass through did not cause you to lose yourself. It brought you closer to deeper life, stronger faith, and purer love in me. My beloved child, do not let the voices out there make you think that purity is outdated, that a holy life is only for those who do not understand joy, that keeping yourself is the loss of youth, and that indulgence is freedom. I speak to you with the love of a father. What is pure never becomes obsolete, because it belongs to the light. What is righteous never becomes old-fashioned, because it lifts you above the things that quietly make your heart heavy. Holiness is not a chain that binds your feet. Holiness is the wings that keep you from being dragged down by desires disguised as sweetness. It does not make your emotions poor. It restores to you the ability to experience love without it being mixed with fear, guilt, secrecy, or self-contempt. When you walk in the light, you do not need to turn back and wonder whether anyone knows what you have done. You do not need to build stories to cover things up. And you do not need to divide your heart into many dark rooms. You are able to stand upright, breathe deeply, and look at life with clear eyes. Because there is nothing within you secretly forcing you to lower your face. I know you live in the midst of a world that constantly decorates danger. It calls haste passion, calls surrendering yourself courage, and calls choices that leave you drained experiences worth trying. It will tell you that everyone is the same, that just once will not matter, that youth must taste everything, and that you should not be too strict with yourself. But, my child, not every open door leads to green pastures. There are paths covered with flowers at the beginning, but chains at the end. There are invitations that sound like songs, but the more you follow them, the more you lose the peace that once lived inside you. I do not remind you of this to plant fear in you, but to place watchfulness within you. A child looking at a flame may see its beauty, its movement, and its warmth, but the father knows that if a tender hand touches it, the burn will remain longer than the moment of curiosity. I love you enough to warn you before you are hurt, not to wait until you carry scars before I comfort you. Understand that wisdom is not trying everything first before learning what can harm you. There are wounds you do not need to receive personally in order to learn the lesson. There are traps you do not need to step into in order to prove that you are strong. The strong person is not the one who places himself near the edge of the abyss and boasts that he has not fallen. The strong person is the one who knows how to step back when he recognizes that the edge is near. The discerning person is not the one who can name every darkness. The discerning person is the one who chooses to remain in the light even when darkness is decorated with gold, laughter, and applause. I do not forbid your joy. I do not want you to live dry, fearful, and withdrawn from life. I am the one who created true joy, but the joy I give does not rob you of respect for yourself. It does not cause you to wake up with an empty heart, does not make you exchange your focus, does not lead you away from the good calling, and does not make your heart weary with things you should never have entered. Remember Joseph when he was young. living in another person's house, in a place where no one close to him was there to protect him. He had an opportunity to do wrong in secret, where people might have thought no one would see. Temptation did not come in an ugly form, but through a repeated invitation, through convenience, through a moment that seemed possible to hide. But Joseph understood that what people call hidden is still fully visible before me. He chose to run from what could stain his hands and disturb his heart, perhaps in the eyes of the world. That act of running looked weak, like a missed opportunity, like foolishness. But in my eyes, it was the strength of a person who knew how to guard what was holy when no one applauded. And you see, what he refused in one moment protected the long road ahead. Sometimes one pure decision today will preserve an entire season tomorrow. Sometimes one time you say no to what is dim is one time you say yes to the destiny of peace I am preparing. Therefore, do not confuse a passing sensation with true peace. Strong feelings can make your heart beat fast, but not everything that makes your heart tremble comes from the source of light. There are waves that crash onto the shore with great force, throwing up beautiful white foam, then withdrawing and leaving behind cold sand and traces of ruin. But the peace I give is like a deep spring beneath the earth, not noisy, not boastful, yet steadily nourishing the trees through the dry season. Temporary pleasure often promises to fill the emptiness, but the more you chase it, the thirstier you become. It is like drinking salt water in the middle of the sea. The lips may seem wet, but within, everything becomes drier than before. My peace is different. It does not require secrecy in order to be obtained. It does not need darkness in order to exist. It does not cause you to lose your gentleness toward others or your respect for yourself. It makes you more awake, more compassionate, more steadfast, and more able to love with a love that does not possess, does not use, and does not wound. I know there are storms within you that you do not always speak about. At times, you are pulled by curiosity, by loneliness, by the need to be seen by someone, by the desire to be held, recognized, and chosen. I do not despise these things. I know you were created to love and to be loved, but precisely because you are precious. I do not want you to place your deep thirst into cracked cups. Not everyone who comes near you knows how to treasure what I have placed within you. Not every sweet word carries the intention to protect you. Not every attention is love. There are people who only want to warm themselves by your light and then leave you in the cold. I want you to learn discernment, so that your heart does not open the door to hands that do not know how to value it. If you have ever stumbled, I do not come to press you down with shame. I come to call you back to the purity that I can still restore. Do not let old mistakes persuade you that you are no longer worthy of the light. You can rise again. You can be washed clean in a new way of life. You can learn to love yourself again with humility, not with pride, but with the awareness that you belong to me. But do not use my mercy as a license to return to what has wounded you. Grace is not a cloth thrown over a flame so that you can continue playing near it. Grace is the hand that pulls you away from danger and teaches you to walk in the path of peace. I forgive so that you may be free, not so that you may return to the old cage under a new name. My beloved child, I want you to understand more deeply that what is happening before your eyes is not merely a problem that needs to be solved and finished, nor is it only an inconvenient chapter in the journey of your life. It is a place of training, a courtyard set within reality where you learn to stand higher than the former version of yourself. There are lessons that cannot be learned in comfort, wisdom that cannot be born when everyone speaks gently, and protective fences that can only be built after you have clearly seen the gaps that once made you weary. Therefore, do not be quick to see this event as an interruption. In my hands, it is becoming a holy classroom, where you learn to reset the foundation, raise the floor, lock the doors securely, open the right pathways, and build a safer space for yourself and for those you love. Before, you may have believed that simply living uprightly was enough for everything to become clear on its own. But through this season, I teach you that uprightness must go together with wise arrangement. A pure heart still needs documents kept in the right place. Promises still need to be written down carefully. Decisions still need markers. Deadlines still need reminders. And important matters should not be left to anyone's memory alone. Not because you distrust everyone, but because you honor truth. Not because you live defensively, but because you know how to preserve peace. When you know how to keep what needs to be kept, check what needs to be checked, follow up on what needs to be followed up, and write down what has been agreed upon. You are not making your life heavier, you are making it less chaotic. I do not want you to live in a naivety that can easily be pulled off course, but I also do not want you to become so hardened that you lose your gentleness. I am teaching you a beautiful maturity, softness in the heart, and clarity in your steps. Right here, you learn a language not everyone has mastered, the language of respect with boundaries. You can listen without surrendering. You can speak gently without yielding what is right. You can seek common ground without erasing the markers I have placed in your heart. You can invite others to discuss together, but not allow them to turn black into white after everything has already been made clear. This is the wisdom I am placing in you, not so you can defeat anyone with cold sharpness, but so you can protect what is right with a spirit of peace. You will realize that there are times when silence is strength, but there are also times when silence kept too long opens the door to being overrun. There are times when words must be soft, like mist, but there are also times when words must stand upright like a pillar in strong wind. I will teach you to discern each rhythm, so that you do not speak because you are provoked, and you do not remain silent because you are afraid. Remember Nehemiah, who heard that the walls of Jerusalem had been broken down, and his heart grieved as though his own home had been abandoned. He did not merely weep and stop there, nor did he only pray and then sit waiting for everything to heal by itself. He observed, measured, arranged guards, assigned each family to build the section of wall before them, working with one hand while the other was ready to defend. When the opposition used mockery, threats, and schemes to pull him away from the main work, he did not allow himself to be swept into every noise. He knew he was doing a great work, so he did not come down from the wall merely to answer words designed to distract him. My beloved child, I tell you this story because you are also learning something similar. Not every call is worthy of making you leave your position. Not every doubtful word requires your explanation. Not every provocation deserves your energy. Sometimes the strongest response is to keep building, keep recording, keep doing your part rightly, and keep the rhythm of watchfulness until the wall stands firm before everyone's eyes. Then you will see that these skills, which seem very ordinary, will gradually become part of the way you live, the way you prepare records, the way you check information again, the way you keep words supported by evidence, the way you ask the right questions at the right time, the way you do not hastily deposit your trust into vague things. All of this will become a steady fragrance flowing from you. Others will sense that you are no longer someone easily led by passing emotion. They will see that you are kind but not loose, approachable but not easily invaded, willing to cooperate but unwilling to let anyone rewrite the story for you. And as this steadiness grows, schemes will naturally lose their pull, because they usually seek places without order, where words are not recorded, boundaries are not guarded, and people fear confrontation so much that they abandon what is right. Do not be sad when I use a contrary wind to teach you how to set your sail. Do not be discouraged when a deep pit becomes the place where you learn to build steps. Do not think that being tested is a sign that you are weaker than others. Sometimes, because I want you to go farther, I allow you to learn how to stand more firmly. A person accustomed only to walking on flat roads will be confused when facing a steep slope. But one who has been trained across many kinds of terrain will know when to move quickly, when to slow down, when to keep distance, when to draw near, when to speak, and when to remain quiet. You are being taught that holy flexibility, not the flexibility of someone without conviction, but the flexibility of one who knows how to listen to me amid changes. You do not always need to be hard, because constant hardness will break. You also do not always need to be soft, because excessive softness can be bent in the wrong direction. I am teaching you the rhythm of a tree planted beside the waters, roots holding deep, trunk rising upward, branches knowing how to bend with the wind without leaving the source of life. And when you ask me, how long until everything turns in another direction, I do not answer you with the noise of haste. I simply place within you a quiet understanding that the turning point will come when you are no longer obsessed with having to prove yourself. There are truths that do not need to be defended with too many words, because time will place them on the table. There are results that you do not need to pull into the light by your own strength, because when their season comes, they will open by themselves like flowers after many days hidden in the bud. Those who once did not understand you will eventually see your endurance bear good fruit. The doors once closed because of doubt will open in a more dignified way. What belongs to you will be placed back in its rightful position. But this time it will no longer be as fragile as before. It will return within a new structure, with a stronger latch, a higher foundation, safer distance, and more light so that darkness cannot easily hide. When this matter closes, I do not want you to return exactly as you were before, as though everything were only a passing rain. I want you to step out with a new level in your mind, a new watchfulness in your actions, and a new stillness in your words. You will not need to boast that you have overcome, nor will you need to repeat again and again who wounded you. You only need to live differently, more orderly, deeper, wiser, and more steadfast in heart. True maturity is not noisy. It is like a house whose foundation has been repaired. From the outside, it may still look familiar, but beneath it has become so firm that even strong winds cannot easily shake it. I am doing this within you. I am not merely handling one event. I am upgrading the place where you stand, so that from here you can see farther and walk more broadly. There will come a time when you sit again in your place without bitterness. You will remember the nights that once felt heavy, but they will no longer press upon you like stones. You will remember the words that once hurt you, but they will no longer control your breathing. You will look back at those who once doubted you, but your eyes will no longer need victory. You will simply smile with a deep peace, because you know I used that very dark road to teach you how to light a lamp. And when you begin doing the work, waiting ahead, you will sense a new atmosphere covering your life, light but not shallow, strong but not harsh, warm yet alert, gentle yet with a backbone. That is the sign of one who has passed through the storm without allowing the heart to become bitter soil. Therefore, my beloved child, allow this event to complete the good work I have permitted it to touch. Do not only wish for it to pass quickly, receive the wisdom it brings. Do not only ask me to clear the path, allow me to teach you how to walk that path with steadier feet. Do not only look to see who is right and who is wrong, look to see what kind of person you are being built into after all of this. What others thought they could use to bring you low, I can turn into a platform that lifts you higher, What once made you feel watched, tested, and pressured, I can turn into an opportunity for you to reorder the whole house within and around you. And when you stand on that new foundation, you will understand that I did not waste a single day of your journey. I was in every detail, every lesson, every silence, every door that closed and then opened. You are not only overcoming, you are being lifted. You are not only being protected, you are maturing. You are not only recovering what was lost, you are receiving it back in a wiser, more enduring, and more radiant form in my hands. I know you are tired from having to be strong for so long. I know there are days when you still work, still speak and smile, still continue, while inside you only long for a sign that all your efforts are not meaningless. So today I place within you this gentle confirmation: you have not been left behind. You are not late, according to what I have appointed. Previous seasons may have made you feel held back, but they cannot destroy what I have prepared. I am teaching you to recognize that true provision does not come from only one source. When one door closes, I still have 1,000 ways to sustain you. When one person forgets you, I can still place your name in the right place where it needs to be remembered. When one plan falls apart, I can still use those fragments to build a firmer road. And when increase begins to appear, walk in purity. Do not show off in order to prove that you have overcome. Do not use what I give you to answer those who once doubted you. Let your peace be the testimony. Let your generosity be the fragrance. Let the way you care for small things show that you are worthy of greater things. I do not bless you so that you may stand above others, but so that you may be freer in love, stronger in faith, and more useful in my hands. What you are about to receive is not only for your relief, but also so that through you, many others may be touched by goodness. Therefore, my beloved child, breathe deeply and stop condemning yourself for the seasons of lack that have passed. You have learned more than you think. You have endured more faithfully than you realize. You were kept on the days when you thought you were about to fall. Now, as the current changes direction, do not forget the one who was with you in the wilderness. Do not forget the lessons of waiting. Do not forget that I am the source, and every channel is only a means in my hands. Prepare your heart like empty vessels set in place, open but not greedy, expectant but not hurried, trusting but not demanding control. I am working, not merely so you may have more, but so you may rest in the fullness that comes from me. And when you enter the new season, you will understand that what I preserved, what I delayed, and what I opened all carried the same purpose: to bring you into a wider, pure place, closer to me.